How you doing, Internet? I'm Beanuts, and today I'll be doing a reaction review to FiM Season 7, Episode 10, A Real Problem. And right away, I have a problem. The same one as Twilight, actually, because it looks like the map is recognizing Starlight as a user now, even though she hacked it, and the problems caused the map to malfunction, and yet it's treating her almost like an element holder. But we'll see where this goes.
I know! I can't believe it either! The map has never called me before.
That's because of your hacking, silly girl.
I'm sure that's not why she looks like that. Oh, actually it is. Said it's never called just one of us before.
That's true. They've usually either gone in pairs or all together. This is really a first, but I'm not sure I like it. I think that Starlight's become too much of a focus recently. And by the way, you can see that her kitty mark is glowing there. No, there's some points where I can understand taking some focus away from the main six, giving it to supporting characters in order to develop them, but making Starlight look good at the expense of the others, that doesn't look good for the writers.
Well, you know, maybe the Royal Sisters aren't seeing eye to eye on something.
Yeah, that's not the first time it's happened. Also, check out the comics where Luna changed jobs with Celestia and actually did her job for a day or so while Celestia went to the spa to relax.
No! That's just crazy. Luna and Celestia would never fight.
Again.
Well, there's nothing wrong here. Right, sister? No.
That face says otherwise. I cannot believe Celestia is being oblivious, by the way. This happened before. Isn't she afraid that Luna might turn into Nightmare Moon again? That's kind of cute. And creepy.
Is that you?
Okay, so this is by Joanna Lewis and Christine Sonko this time. Well, their previous work wasn't bad. I liked it.
Are you here? I'm not. I'm still home. It's an easy spell. I'll show you later. You know how some ponies say nothing's wrong, but you can tell something's definitely wrong? No.
Like that. Exactly like that. Also, she said she'd show Starlight how to do this spell later on. I don't think that's a good idea. No, it's not that long ago that she wasn't performed. She was a major villain. She almost doomed all of the Questia, all over Vendetta.
Oh, I wish I could help you, but I can't. Both for map reasons and because I have no idea.
She still thinks the map is infallible, even after it glitched and didn't work.
Thank you so much for breakfast, Princess. I can't believe you cook it yourself.
Well, she has to have hobbies.
Good morning, sister.
She is wiped.
Join us? Too tired. Please excuse me.
Pineapple is good for you.
It's been really hard on her. Perhaps, but she is like this every morning.
So why don't you ask what's wrong? And why throw it out?
Poor Celestia. That's so sweet that she makes her sister pancakes every morning.
Check,
She's
please.
your mentor. I think you might be biased.
Oh,
Good
sorry.
luck, Starlight. Lavender's calming scent is known to aid dreamers in achieving a restorative sleep.
Maybe I could use some.
Tooling? More like boring.
So Celestia does breakfast, Luna does lavender.
But as always, my sister's too busy having fun with dignitary ponies to acknowledge anything I do.
Those dignitaries, they're not fun. Remember them from Princess Spike? I do.
So, both princesses are hurting each other without realizing it. And instead of talking about it, they're just getting colder and more distant.
Exactly.
And that's the
Communication.
lesson. So it's not like you can just confront them. Actually, that's exactly what I was gonna do. What? Are you crazy? I mean...
This is probably the reason why the map chose Starlight instead of Twilight to send in, but we've heard and seen Twilight call Celestia on things which she thought weren't good ideas, such as unleashing Discord again and keep calm and flutter on. That was a big one for her. But I thought, weren't the writers trying to make it so that Twilight was seeing the sisters more as peers and less as gods, to be worshipped, revered? But she's gone back to that in the last 2 seasons. And that's something that I think a lot of fans haven't liked. So if the map had chosen Twilight to send, then she would have had to get over that attitude of reverence and start being able to call Celestia and Luna on their shenanigans to help them. And I think that would have been even more powerful than with Starlight. Of course, Starlight is going to learn something as she goes, but this would be useful for Twilight too, in a way that her current involvement doesn't really do. It would be better for her.
The last time the princesses fought, Luna turned into Nightmare Moon, and Princess Celestia had to banish her for 1,000 years.
Yeah, there's that.
Can't happen again. Princesses aren't the best at communicating with each other. It's just you said princesses and aren't the best in the same sentence, and it's making me nervous.
Fan reaction to blank isn't the best princess, or blank isn't the best pony.
No. I almost feel bad eating this. It's adorable.
Take a picture.
Like I said, I enjoy this part.
Banana, pot peel.
Princess Luna,
Yeesh.
as you both know, the map sent me here for a reason, and I think I found out what it is.
Really? Oh, that is wonderful, Starlight. What is it?
You two.
Excuse
What?
your pardon?
I think you're accidentally hurting each other's feelings without realizing it.
Accidentally.
Princess Celestia,
If that wasn't plain
does it
enough.
bother you that Luna never notices the wonderful breakfast that you prepared for her?
Yes, it does.
Trying to be regal about it?
Tell Celestia how you feel about the fact that she never acknowledges the work you put into lining the hallway with lavender every night.
I think you should have phrased it as a question.
It's not the best feeling. I'm sorry, I never noticed that you make fruit faces on pancakes. But nights are long for me. You might be a morning pony, but I am half asleep. You think I don't get tired? I'm exhausted. Oh, I apologize for not noticing flowers in a wall sconce. But by the time I get to retire for the night, I can barely see straight.
It's nice to see this more human side of them. We haven't really seen from both of them since Slice of Life, and we saw a bit of that earlier when Celestia confided in Twilight that she hasn't had anxieties about sending Twilight to Ponyville. But most of the time, we don't see a lot of Celestia and Luna and what makes them tick, which is one reason why I like the comics as well. I mean, the Reflections comic was awesome for Celestia, and we don't really get that in the show until now. So this is great. Hasbro, more of this, please.
Even so, I still make an effort to smile. Like smiling is so hard.
Wanna bet?
I'm sure that's not what Princess Luna meant to say. Is that what exhausts you? Smiling and being adored by every pony? And you
You'll
have
eat
it
those
so much
words,
worse,
if
do
not
you?
the pancakes.
Spend your evenings drifting around giving ponies lovely dreams. Oh, it sounds just awful.
Okay, I feel like we
Wait.
should step back. Take a
Wait.
deep breath.
Celestia handled nights as well as days during Luna's banishment. Does she not know what it's like to be guardian of dreams? And then again, even in the comics, she didn't really seem to have the ability to defend others' dreams, just her own when Nightmare Moon came for her. And in Do Princess's Dream, Luna said that Celestia has no power in dreams. Or not in the way that she does. She's not a dream walker. Does this confirm that Celestia didn't guard dreams during the 1,000 years of Luna's banishment? Well, that would mean nobody did. at the same time, those 1,000 years were pretty peaceful. Nothing major happened. So, what's going on?
Wrath, don't presume to know what it is like to govern the dream realm, and yet you know exactly what it's like to be me? Oh, please.
Freaky Friday. Whoa. Also, the black part is part of Luna's cutie mark? Oh wait, we knew that from Twilight's Kingdom, didn't we? But as well, it's disturbing to me that it was so easy for Starlight to do that. She might have caught them by surprise, but she did it so easily in their alcorns. They're supposed to be more powerful than she is. In the wrong hooves, this spell would be a major problem. What if she had done this when she was still evil? That scares the ever-living crap out of me.
There. Now you'll know exactly what it's like to meet each other.
Well, to have each other's cutie marks anyway.
What have you done?
I went with my gut.
Switch our cutie marks back this instant.
My apologies, Your Majesties, but I can't, even if I wanted to. This spell lasts 24 hours.
Really?
It may have been extreme, but I think it's still a good idea.
In a way, this spell is actually quite brilliant. It's not the same way that Star Swirl's incomplete spell worked in Magical Mystery Cure. No, it didn't switch them through the elements of harmony, and it didn't switch their memories clearly, although in that time everyone was sleeping, so maybe the memory switch only works while they're sleeping. But still, they have each other's cutie marks, but they have their own memories. And as well, there's a time duration limit, so everything goes back to normal in 24 hours, regardless of anything else that happens. This one isn't permanent. You don't have to worry about a cure. So that's rather brilliant. But at the same time, again, in the wrong hooves, this could be disastrous, because 24 hours in Crisis, that's a really long time. Boy, and I'm shaking. Badly.
What?
Listen at yourselves. Neither of you believes your sister knows how hard it is to be you. So this is your chance to prove it.
You're making this up as you go along.
Well, I could use an easy day followed by a good night's sleep. You can try. I haven't had an easy day in, well, ever. But now I get to sleep, and tonight will be a breeze.
You're
Alright,
both
so
going
I
to
remember
be eating a humble pie.
Good choice. Not that you had one.
Sorry?
I'm gonna stop talking.
Please do.
You switched their cutie marks? The actual princess's cutie marks? I thought we moved past this. It was the right call. I hope.
Are you okay in there?
I'm good. Just,
Nothing's okay.
He's gonna think I'm nuts. He's not the only one.
You're all nuts.
As
Convenient.
you can see, what is first on my dear sister's to-do list?
That's a long looking
We'll
list.
have a few public appearances, store openings, judging the Royal Rose contest, that sort of thing.
Oh, I knew today would be easy, but I didn't think it would be that
Hold up.
easy.
Hold up. So Luna's normal duties don't include any public appearances, even though there might be some events that occur at night. This seems really uneven. She actually doesn't have that much experience in appearing in public and doing ribbon cuttings and openings and that kind of thing. Does that make sense? I don't think that makes sense. She's been to events, weddings, and what was the other one? The second Summer Sun celebration since the season started. Smiling that long hurts. Oh wait, she has Celestia's magic aura, so their magic switched, along with their cutie marks. Couldn't cut it. Another table? You know, one way to avoid hurting your cheeks is not to smile quite so much.
Princess
Ouch.
Luna unhappy with student fundraiser? But I wasn't unhappy.
The art style in that picture is interesting, though.
I've been smiling all day. My cheeks hurt. I stopped for 1 second, and that's when he took the picture.
Yep, you never know what they'll do in 1 second.
Isn't as easy as you thought.
Smile and wave, boy. Smile and wave.
That because of me, the school didn't raise enough funds to go on their field trip. I didn't mean for that to happen.
Guilt trip much.
I know. But you can't dwell on that now.
Plus Royal Face Desk.
Some delegates are about to arrive for a luncheon. You need to dispel rumors of timber wolves in the Whitetail Woods. The nearby town.
What else has happened in the Whitetail Woods in the series?
Hello! Great news! There are no timber wolves!
I guess specific denials don't lead to good response.
Normally I have all the time and solitude I need to work through my problems at my own pace.
Well, your sister doesn't get that luxury.
Incoming.
Town hall?
Not ready.
Glad that's settled. That only took 3 hours.
3 hours? Boy. Someone needs Robert's Rules of Order.
Good night, Starlight.
Nice rhyme.
Hello, Starlight. I don't know about you, but I feel very well rested.
She's exhausted.
She already turned in for the night.
Again, she's exhausted.
Did she now? It seems my duties were harder than my sister expected.
And hers are going to be harder than you expected.
Moon raised. It's even easier than raising the sun. What's next? Of course, everybody's asleep at night. Luna works alone. Oh, but it's nothing I can't handle.
You're talking to
Walk
yourself
Equestria, visit the dream realm, and protect ponies in the
loudly.
fair.
I'm surprised she isn't
My
waking up.
list was 3 times as long.
It's the quality, not the quantity.
Every pony's asleep. Talking to yourself, Celestia? But
Still.
there's no pony else to talk to. Yet, I can talk to ponies in their dreams.
That seems selfish. Wow, that's cool.
Now, to save some ponies from their nightmares.
Applejack.
We're not real, so it shouldn't be too hard, right? Right. Good call, Celestia.
Flim and Flam?
And I'm talking to myself again.
Tuppy.
I can.
No. This is big. Like really big.
You're too big.
Starlight.
Plus freaky eyes.
Tell me what's wrong.
Going with my gut was the wrong call. I was supposed to bring you two closer together, but I've only driven you apart. If you two can't see why you need each other, then I am back.
Oh, wow.
Don't worry, Starlight.
And she changed the dreamscape, too.
I know how to handle Nightmare Moon.
You do? You know how to handle Nightmare Moon outside of the dream realm. Plus, there's this. No longer no see. This is cool.
This can't breathe. If Luna can turn into Nightmare Moon, you can absolutely turn into me, Daybreaker.
Daybreaker? That doesn't go thematically with this. I mean, Nightmare Moon from Luna kind of makes sense, especially since she is a nightmare. Daybreaker? Does she get rid of the sun? But basically, you get the sort of impression that this is what Celestia would be like if she only looked out for number one. You know, if she did whatever she wanted, whenever she wanted. Basically like Discord. As for the name, another solar flare. In my fan fiction, I called her Abyssal Trance. I kind of like that better. It's trance and nightmare. But then again, I picked the name. Of course I'm going to like it more.
The better, prettier, and more powerful version of you.
Prettier?
I'll never
No.
turn into you.
More powerful?
You know how powerful you are.
I'll just say less restricted.
That's not true. Even when we were apart, I knew I needed her. Oh, please! You don't need any pony.
A ruler would definitely need their subjects. Otherwise, they're ruling over nothing. Celestia and Luna, when they became stewards of Equestria, they didn't really want it. Remember, that whole want-need thing doesn't really come into play. Daybreaker is hopping on something that's really a non-factor.
All you have to do is get rid of any pony who stands in your way.
That's FiM talk. Also red. Red, orange, sort of. For magic.
Should have destroyed you!
Wow.
You can't do that. Day, night, sun, moon, Equestria needs both of you. Without balance, there's no harmony.
I agree.
Who needs
But I like the battle.
You can have it all.
You won't have it all, you'll have nothing.
Can't get rid of me so easily, sister. Unless you plan on smiling me to smithereens.
Haha.
I told you I was more powerful than you.
I haven't proved it yet.
So much black. We get it, you're sad. You could really use some sun.
Shit's kinda sassy. Ouch.
So my fault. Never should have gone on this mission. Equestria is doomed.
I think Twilight's fake outs are contagious. Everyone can smell a faker.
Why don't you want us to go on a field trip? I don't.
Oh wow. Bill Cipher called. He wants his trick back. I'm seeing duplicates.
I've seen a lot, but I haven't seen this before. It's Starlight Glimmers. She's afraid this is what would happen if we continue the fight.
She's completely broken down.
I'm never going with my dad again.
If you don't fix this soon, it could have a grave consequence on Starlight's psyche.
Her confidence is gone.
Powerful enough. I thought if we worked together,
I have your magic, remember? It doesn't work in the dream realm. It has to be you.
oh Luna, I can't do this. I was wrong. Your job is so incredibly hard. You have to battle nightmares and work in the darkness and do it all alone. It takes such a brave, strong pony to do what you do.
And that comes
Thank goodness for this.
I walked into your shoes. I thought all you had to do was smile and be adored all the time, but I was wrong. There is so much more to it than that.
You were both wrong. Starlight was right in this instance. Are we back here again? That's one throne. Oops. Nice visuals though.
In order to defeat Daybreaker, you need only to trust in your strength, as I will.
You can't destroy me. I'm everything you want to be. No, you're not. You are not real, and you will never exist again.
And she doesn't want to be that. Wow, they both lost that really easily.
You did it! Only because you were here. I don't know how you do this alone. So,
Practice.
did you talk yourself? A little?
A lot. Don't lie.
Is this really happening?
This is what sisters do.
Welcome back, sister. I know you had a long night, so I made you some pancakes. Oh, how nice.
I appreciate the effort. Now throw it out.
They're delicious. Thank you.
I know that face.
You're not. I know you have to be perfect for every pony else.
If they know each other so well and they're such good sisters normally, why did this even happen though? It's for the plot, and I hate that. Because otherwise this episode was so good.
And you do an amazing job, but you don't have to do it for me. In that case, they are terrible.
I know.
But it means a lot that you tried.
That's better.
This was real. Oh, or was it not real? And this just happened now and not in my dream? I'm so confused.
Think about it a little more.
It's all real. It was the right call, going with your gut. The map was wise to send you Starlight. No pony else would have been so bold as to do what you did.
Maybe not at first, but I think Twilight would have gotten there eventually. And I think, sure, Starlight learned a significant lesson through this episode, but it would have been also important for Twilight to learn to stop idolizing the other princesses to such a degree. She's a princess too, and an alicorn, even if only a new one. If she had gotten past her hero worship of Celestia, I think that would have been worth it. So, in my opinion, the ideal solution would be to send them both, and have them both learn the lesson.
That's a nice way of saying I came dangerously close to messing everything up.
It was just what we needed. The experience has made us closer than ever.
Good. But that wasn't 24 hours from the switch.
I believe that one means your mission is complete.
Wow! I can't wait to tell Twilight! I already know!
Wait, what?
I don't know everything. I just
Twilight was spying all along. I know that when she was the little music box thing, she wanted to talk to Starlight. If she wanted to watch without interfering, that's definitely not the way to do it. Now, Starlight didn't know until just now. Not only that, Celestia and Luna also know. This is the way to monitor your student if you're going to do it all. At the same time, does this mean that Celestia has done the same? Actually, we know she has. She has been monitoring Twilight the entire time until Magical Mystery Cure. We have video proof. You guys really aren't giving your students the space to learn if you're the fallback, essentially. Although, when everyone says that they should take things seriously, that they should have a fallback plan because the stakes are so high, especially on most of the premieres and finales, I guess that's what they're talking about here. And this means that if Twilight had failed at any point, Celestia would have been able to step in and she was ready to do so, even though she expressed a faith in Twilight to do it. Someone could take that the wrong way really easily.
got here to bring you a toothbrush. No, this is just a friendly visit, not a tutoring because I was worried. I wasn't.
Also spiked toothbrush.
So proud of you. Tell me everything. Fast after I hyperventilated and don't leave out any details.
Oh, by the way, there's a field trip you need to make happen and a Timberwolf issue you need to address.
What?
Oh, look, there's the sun. Time for me to turn in.
And she leaves her sister with a mess to clean up. Although I suppose, since Luna already helps Celestia fix her problem, that's kind of fair actually. So what did I think of this episode? I liked it, mostly. Only real problem I had with it is that Starlight's role in it was maybe a bit too much. I make no secret that I don't like what they've done with Starlight, that she's become too involved and too powerful. I like the way she was in the Season 5 premiere. I don't like the fact that she can be as powerful as she needs to be. Twilight could have also done this and learned a lesson, but otherwise, I do enjoy seeing more of Celestia and Luna and what makes them tick. I really want to see more of this kind of thing in the future. And what I would really like to see is something animated about their backstory. You know, the place where they came from, as well as what it was like when they took stewardship of Equestria for a while. I mean, we have a little bit of that in the Journal of the Two Sisters, but we don't have beyond that. And we have little peaks here and there of how things were, but we don't really know how they were at those times, and that's something that I would really like to see. Besides that, this is my favorite episode so far of Season 7. It really lifts the level of the way they've been. It was a little middling to start, and then we had some flat more. The recent Applejack episode was kind of a so what episode, so it was nice to come back to something that was stronger and had a bigger impression and impact on it. And definitely seeing Daybreaker had a huge impact, and Nightmare Moon again, also nice to see again, even though she was part of the conflict. Other than that, I really did enjoy this episode, and I'm looking forward to more great work. And I hope that we will see something more on the caliber of seasons 4, 5, and 2, because those were, I think, FiM at their best. Really. They had the most interesting episodes, the most in-depth character development, most interesting plots and plot twists, and the Freaky Friday thing is something that people can see coming a mile away. The execution of switching the cutie marks was pretty good, and I liked that the spell was different this time. And so Celeste and Luna had their memories when it switched. That was good. Hi again. It's been almost a week since the episode aired, and I wanted to share my thoughts as I've come up with them over the past little while, because I've taken the time to consider, and I believe that I've come up with a few things that others may not have thought of. First is how Starlight has this propensity towards no permission asked for or given, no matter what the situation is, and she also tends to look for the magical solution. But she doesn't really ask for things, she forces her solution upon others, and then everyone has to deal with the consequences. And here, the people who she's forcing them on, or the ponies she's forcing them on, they're the royal sisters. So she's really lucky that they reacted in the way they did. Now, quite frankly, it's in line with her character, though, that she tends to force things on others and just doesn't ask for permission. Starlight, you see, is not used to being accountable to others on that kind of level, and she's not used to being counted on either. Yes, she was in charge of our town, but our town was to a style and scale that she could easily deal with. It was small, and she could manage it fairly well on her own, despite the inabilities of all the town's ponies there. Now you have her helping out on a scale that can affect all of Equestria, and the fact that she's not used to that is reflected in that when things don't go her way and when they don't work out, she tends to break down. This whole thing where when it seemed like the princesses were going to start fighting again, she shouted and immediately launched her spell. And then when things really started to break down in her nightmare, then she started crying and just started commiserating about how things were wrong and that it was her fault. And while I can appreciate that she didn't believe that she had the right answer, or she had her doubts, it's still a fact that when you focus on what's going on that's wrong, then it's much harder to find a possible solution. Previously, I also stated that I believed that Twilight could go with Starlight and then they could both learn a lesson. I still believe that this is correct, and I've thought about who else the map might send. They had to be either the main six, with some accompaniment perhaps, or the key holders. And while it might have been nice to see the key holders again, I don't think any of them would have been suited for this particular mission. If we return for a moment back to the main six themselves, even if you do something like sending Applejack and Applebloom, or Rarity and Sweetie Belle, or Fluttershy, you still get a lesson about treating others with kindness and working together in order to come up with a solution, or in order to work through a situation or get things done, achieving a common goal. And we've had this lesson before, numerous times, particularly in FiM. What we wanted to get out of this besides all the new action and behind the scenes stuff with the princesses, was, or at least I believe what we wanted, was a lesson that we hadn't gotten before, something fresh and something new. And we got that with Starlight and her issues with her self-confidence. I don't think that it was accomplished in the ideal way. I still think that Twilight could have gone with. However, the way I would have suggested that this be done is that Starlight and Twilight go on the mission as sent by the map, but Twilight, because she's aware that this is a friendship problem and a potential friendship lesson for Starlight, she asks Starlight to take the lead. So Twilight is there as a sort of backup and someone with whom Starlight can consult, but she's not there on the sly the way she was in the actual episode. So they start working together and bouncing ideas off of each other. And just like in the actual episode, Starlight is the first to forward ideas that Twilight wouldn't have, because Celestia is Celestia and Luna is Luna. To Twilight, they are at least at a certain level beyond reproach. But Starlight would chip away at that resistance and that idea and that whole worship that Twilight might have built up while she was not in Celestia's direct company. And then Twilight would be able to help Starlight work through different solutions and make it easier for Celestia and Luna to accept being swapped or having their magic swapped as well as their duties. And if you're to believe what was shown in the Journal of the Two Sisters, even though many people don't hold that as canon because it's not part of the show, they would accept a challenge. Now, they have this mischievous spirit that they would accept a bet or a challenge, and they would go through it of their own accord rather than having it forced upon them and then snapping at Starlight for doing it. And I think that in the process of doing this, as well as in the follow-through, Twilight would learn to respect Celestia and Luna as peers rather than as someone to be revered or worshipped. This is a lesson which, as I said before, I believe Twilight could use, because she would then go forward within the show without believing that either princess are infallible or that she can't do what they can just because she's the second newest princess on the block, and certainly the newest princess of age and who has power. So I believe that sending them both would be ideal, and that we can still have the lesson that Starlight got, but at the same time teach something important to Twilight so that she can move forward as a princess of Equestria. That does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. You can comment below what you thought, like and subscribe to show your support, and see you in the next video. Bye bye!